The nursing students here at the U of A have a pretty demanding work schedule.
Women's History Month is all about highlighting influential women.
Some Black students have found it particularly difficult to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. I have my Strong Like Hudson card right here, and I definitely plan on spreading the love this weekend. March is all about shining a light on powerful women who have set the standard, and we actually have two right here on campus. Let's take a look.
Women are powerful. They're really powerful.
Women's History Month is all about highlighting influential women in history. And right here at the University of Arkansas, we have our very own Making Her Story.
Every single student here deserves to feel at home, safe and heard, and every single woman of color deserves that as well.
Two U of A student leaders are continuing to make history as the first in their ASG elected student body positions.
I was in shock.
Words can't describe it.
I also think it's awesome that we made history this year with Kamala Harris becoming our first vice president that is our first African American woman, as well as our first Asian American woman and South Asian American woman. And I feel like our student body executive ticket that just got elected represents that, as well as Tia Anderson is our first African American woman to serve as the vice president, and I am the first Indian American woman to serve as the student body treasurer, and I think that's awesome.
This is a huge milestone for this university, and I just feel like it's shattering a glass ceiling that's been there for so long.
Patel and Anderson share a deep friendship and bond.
Hannah's a sister to me.
Tia is kind of like my soul sister.
I don't know who I'd be without her. We do everything together. When we first found out that we both got elected, I just hugged her, and I just couldn't believe that I could go through this with her.
They also share the same hope for women of color.
I just want all women of color that come onto this campus to know that they can reach for the unimaginable.
No matter if you're a woman or if you're a person of color on this campus, that should never stop you from reaching your goals.
These two women have made their mark in history at the U of A. Of course, with March being Women's History Month, naturally I had to ask Patel and Anderson who the most influential women are in their life, and they both told me their mom. I absolutely loved this because I too share the same sentiment. My mom is the most influential woman in my life. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Kalyn Jackson. Usually this time of the year is always a little harder for the Lace family. However, they usually try to spread a little happy to keep the memory of their son Hudson alive. University of Arkansas Associate head men's golf coach Barrett Lace and his wife Jessica continue to honor their late son Hudson. Hudson Lace suffered a global brain injury after his birth, was diagnosed with cerebral palsy 2 years later, and passed shortly after his 5th birthday.
He had a lot of issues throughout his short 5 years. You know, he had a seizure disorder. He was fed through a feeding tube. He couldn't walk or talk or sit up. But he just always had this joy and this soulful personality.
Hudson's passing has not been an easy journey for the Lace family, but they have found the positive in their situation.
We decided really early on that we were just going to make the best of it, not just get through it. We were going to give him the best life we possibly could, whatever that meant.
The Strong Like Hudson campaign was created in remembrance of Hudson's happy spirit.
We suffered a terrible tragedy when he passed away, and we couldn't think of a better way to honor him and spread happiness, because that's what we remember about him.
Julian Perico, a member of the UARK men's golf team, has grown a close relationship with the Lace family. Even though Julian never met Hudson, he loves what Happy for Hudson stands for.
It just kind of pushes you to do something really nice to someone.
Each year on Hudson's birthday, February 13th, the family spreads Happy for Hudson. Simple acts of kindness, if you will. Some members of the men's golf team shared their happy by delivering treats to the Arkansas Children's Northwest Hospital.
It just feels nice to give back to the community.
Barrett and Jessica have also partnered with Make-A-Wish Mid-South.
The experience for us was, we just wanted to be able to give it to other families and other families that deserve it. And because it can be a roller coaster, and we understand the challenges families face.
They granted their 5th wish in Hudson's memory. The Lace family encourages everyone to get out and spread a happy for Hudson in honor of his birthday tomorrow. I have my Strong Like Hudson card right here, and I definitely plan on spreading the love this weekend. Reporting live, I'm Kalyn Jackson. Some Black students have found it particularly difficult to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic and current racial tension in our country. One student tells me this past year has been a mental health nightmare for him. For many people, the COVID-19 pandemic has proven to be a challenge as it has taken a toll on the state of their mental health.
There has been times where social interaction I didn't have, and that sent me into a depression.
University of Arkansas student Jacoby Hurst has battled with his mental health for a few years. He works as a resident assistant on campus and says his job serves as a support, even though there were times his mental health state affected that.
No problem. My first year of being an RA very much hindered my ability to be the best RA I wanted to be.
With mental health being a taboo topic in the Black community, Hurst says it only makes things worse.
It's hard to ever talk about how you feel because you always have to feel a certain way about certain things, have to fight for basic rights, continuous fighting for equality, equity that we have to endure, and sometimes we forget to care for ourselves.
This past summer, the hashtag Black at UArk was created, calling attention to issues Black students have faced on campus. Hurst tweeted about his experience being denied access to the only Black therapist available on campus.
I was just very shocked that I had to, that I couldn't request who I wanted to talk to.
Associated Student Government Director of Mental Health, Tamia White, says representation matters.
If you can see somebody who looks like you, who has been through the same things that you're able to be a little bit more vulnerable with them.
Tamia tells me she's made it her mission to help others as she too has struggled with her mental health in the past. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Kalyn Jackson. One former Razorback and local business owner says Northwest Arkansas is the place to be. Early voters don't have to stop at Bud Walton to have their voice heard. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion started an initiative for students to explore Black-owned businesses throughout the month. Yesterday, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson signed a near-total abortion bill into law. The controversial bill bans all abortions except for circumstances to save the life of the mother. This means no exemptions of cases of pregnancy from rape or incest. Freezing temperatures and icy roads throw a wrench in normal campus routines. While the weather is not expected to get above freezing until next week, parking and transit is doing their best to keep students safe in these conditions. The rate of new positive COVID cases in the state of Arkansas decreased today. The Arkansas Department of Health reports just over 14,000 cases today across the state. About 1,000 new cases were reported today, along with 26 new deaths. The number of patients hospitalized decreased from 40 today.